Welcome to today's lesson in regards to 1.5 Part 2. And for those that were listening from class, I reminded people that don't forget that Math Excel for School is not going to be assigned because when given over the weekend, kids tend to work on it and then you present problems for your teachers in the classroom on Monday for those that are not going on the trip. So I did not assign it, and I will be assigning it probably at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Okay, real quick, this agenda is meant for Tuesday and Monday, and I want to encourage students, if you have time, that there is the opportunity for you to kind of look at part 1, for answers for the homework slides. That was not assigned, so you can do some extra practice. And if you have that remaining time, you are not to disrupt your teachers that are not in charge of you, or technically they're supervising you, but I do not want to get a negative report, otherwise I'll have to think of something. Okay, I trust you guys. So real quickly, let's dive into the lesson, but before then, let's go with a joke. Those that don't listen to it will have no idea what I'm talking about, so in the class I'm going to say, what do you call a fish without eyes? Think about it. And at this time, during the video, whenever I ask you to work on certain things, go ahead and pause the video so you can work and resume it at your own pace. But a fish with no eye is a FSH, which is corny. Alright, our next joke that we're going to talk about. Actually, I'll do the joke later on to make sure people are paying attention. But let's go ahead and start the lesson up. And here we got literal equations. So literal equations is another form of word problems that they were grouping things together. First we worked on defining the variable. And once we understand what variables are, we have to isolate the variables. For example, if I ever had a problem where it's in standard form, and some of you guys might remember it and some of you guys will not. Let me change the colors of the font of the text. Something like, okay, I won't write 2x. I'll use my finger instead. 2x plus 2y is equal to 8. And they want you to solve it in terms of y. Then what happens is you would isolate it by subtracting 2x from both sides. So the next line would read as negative 2x plus 8. And then divide everything by 2, which then would be isolating the y is equal to negative x plus 4. I believe that's correct. And in doing so, we have solved for y. Now, we could also rearrange it to solve for x if we wanted to which the equation would look a little bit different. And it will make sense once we go through a couple problems within the lesson. Okay, so let's see what we're going to do here. All right, let's go first page. Density, for example, is the mass over volume. So what is the formula that are given? Now, I do want you guys to write density down, or you should have written down the title already first, as far as 1.5 literal equations on there when I'm looking for it. The next thing is this bit of information. I am looking for you guys to kind of figure it out. In the introduction, whether I teach this live or I do it remote like this, I expect you guys to answer these questions in your notebook. So go ahead and you can title it 1 and 2. You don't need to copy the words down, but go ahead and answer those questions based on what you see above. Okay, I'm hoping that you've unpaused it by now, and you can go on to do questions 3 and 4. Go ahead and pause and solve those problems. Now we have this particular problem where, more problems for you to work on. Write the new formula, substitute values in the given formula. Now if you're kind of unsure, I want you to guess. I'd rather you have a wrong answer, and so that when we reveal the answers that you can understand and learn from that. I don't want you to cheat by going ahead and forward and get the right answer. This is not taken for points and accuracy. And what is the volume of 96.5 grams of gold, as well as in what units is your answer? Do these units make sense? Bear in mind the units divide out as well. Also, that's a great question for me to ask when I see you in person. All right. Pause if you're not quite there yet, but let's go through the answers. The answers shall include that density is mass over volume, which was stated before, and the density of gold is 19.3 grams over cubic centimeters. That's centimeters cubed, same thing. And then we have what is the measurement you were asked to determine. That is the volume of gold, and to solve for volume now. Now this is what I was talking about in regards to how you can rearrange the equation. Before it was set that it was D is equal to, but now they wanted you to write V is equal to, and it's just manipulating the variables to isolate it. When I mean to isolate it, it's the only thing that's on the side. And take a look at the other answer, which is now 96.5 over 19.3. Some people went ahead and solved it, but you didn't need to because it says with a given formula. And in the end, if you look at this, and this is dimensional analysis, that you understand that grams divided by grams ends up being 1, so then you're left with just centimeters cubed. That's something that we could always look at. It's kind of fun for those that are going to be chem majors. Balancing equations has elements of this logic to it as well. Alright, so let's move on. This concludes the introduction portion of the lesson.